It's time to talk a bit more about the collisions. So we want to create some enemy. We already have our player. If you didn't watch the last lesson, you can just download the full package that will get you started with the scene that we already have it. So you can follow the link below and just download the lesson 11 package. So we are on the same stage. And now we can move our player and shoot it. So if I just play the game, you can see that we can shoot and move around. The first thing we want to do is to give a tag to our player. So just click on it, and here on the top of the inspector window there is a tag section. So just click on it, and here we can choose the player. This is a good thing to tag all the objects that we have in our scenes. Now let's create an enemy. I will just duplicate it. So just right click, duplicate. I call it enemy. I'll move it to the right. We will delete the player movement. So because it's not the player. So just remove the component, and I want to flip the sprite so it faces our player. So on the sprite renderer component, click flip X, and now it is facing left. And maybe let's change the color of it so they don't look the same. Maybe something like that would do. Now we have to create another script for our enemy. So right click, or maybe just click on the enemy, and here just add component, and let's call it enemy controller. New script, and create an add. Here we have it. It appeared in our component list. And the last thing for now is to add a different tag to enemy. They can't have the same tag because this is a player and this is an enemy. So let's create on it. And as you can see, there is no enemy tag on the list. We have to add it. So just click add tag, and here in the tag sections, just click the plus button and call it enemy. Save it, click on the enemy once again and choose it from the list. All the triggers and all collisions, the easiest way to detect them by the tags really. And we are going to do this way. Let's go to enemy controller, open it, and here we want to detect if the bullet hits it. But in order to detect it, if the bullets hit it, we have to click on the bullet, and guess what? We have to change its tag. So here's again tag, click on it, and there is no tag that we can use really, so just add a tag again. As you can see, enemy is already there. Just plus click and call it a bullet. Save it, click on it again and choose it from the list, like so. So now if we go back to the script, to the enemy controller script, we want to check for this collision or for the trigger. It depends how we want to specify our bullet. Sometimes it's easier to make it a trigger, and sometimes it is easier to make it as a collision. Let's have a look. I'll click on it, and at the moment we don't have any collider on it, so we have to add it. So let's add component and look for collider, and it will be definitely a circle collider 2D because our object is circular. So I'll just add it to the scene for now just to see if the radius of this collider is pretty good, and it is. It's a bit, maybe too big. We can make it smaller if you really want, but I think this is fine. It might stay as it is. So okay, our bullet is fine. I will delete it from the scene, and as you can see, if you click on it, it is a normal collider. It's not triggered. So let's leave it as it is for now, and later on I will show you what's the difference. Go back to this script. We want to check for the collision. So let's go on collision, enter 2D. Here's the method we're looking for. And as you can see, it accepts some arguments, and this argument which its name is other, will hold all the information about the object that we collide with. So because the script is on enemy controller, so whenever you hit the enemy with the bullet, so this other variable will hold all the information about the bullet. Let's have a look. Inside the collision, we want to add a conditional statement. So let's say if, and now we want to say if the object that hits the enemy has a tag of bullet, then we want to do something. Okay, let's type it in. So if other, because other is this object that collides with, now let's call transform and dot, we are checking for the tag. So start typing tag, and here you have two options to choose from. I'm going to choose this compare tag. And now within the parentheses, we have to add a string tag. So we need to use quotes. And here we have to provide the tag of our bullet. So just type bullet. And now what we want to do when the collision happens. We want to, let's say, destroy the enemy at the first time. So how to destroy it? We did it before. So just call the destroy method, and inside the parentheses specify what object needs to be destroyed. And we want to destroy the enemy. And this is the script that it's attached to the enemy. So we can just use game object and then specify the time. We want to destroy it straight away. So 0f. That should be working fine. So let's go back to Unity and see if it's working. I just click on the enemy to see if everything is right and it's looking okay. So I just click play and nothing happens. Why? And as you can see, there is no collider on the enemy at all. So we have to add one. Just add component and choose maybe circle collider 2D should be appropriate. Just add it, and maybe we can just play with it so it fits better to our enemy. So I think we will decrease the radius a bit, like so, and offset it on the horizontal to the left. Now it's looking much better. So just save it and press play once more time. Now if I shoot, you can see that once the bullet hit our enemy, it was destroyed. But let's say we want to destroy the bullet as well, because as you could see, it was still flying to the right. So let's go back to the script and destroy not only the game object, which is enemy, but we want to destroy this object that collides with it as well. And as you can remember, the object that collides with this enemy is called with this other variable. So let's call destroy and say other game object, and we want to destroy it straight away as well. Let's go back to Unity, press play and shoot it. And as you can see, both objects were destroyed. Now I want to show you something. I will add a collider to our player as well, as we might need it in the future because we want to be shot by enemies as well. So in order to detect some enemy bullets, we have to have collider as well. So just add component and choose circle collider 2D as well. Play with it quick just to have it nice and centered. And now it's ready. Press play and look what happens. I just clicked fire and our player was moved to the right because this bullet was created in the middle and it pushed our player to the right. Let's have a look again what happened. I click and as you can see, bullets pushed our player. So how can we fix it? The first thing to fix it might be to create some offset for our bullets so they're not created in the middle but just outside of this green ring so that they don't interfere, because if two collisions interfere and one of it has some force, it will try to push the other one out. And we don't want to do it. But the other way of doing it will be to make our bullet a trigger. So let's make it a trigger and let's go back to Unity. So now there should be no physical contact. I'll just fire it, and as you can see, definitely it is looking fine. We can shoot it. But now there is no collision. There is no collision because when one object is set to be a trigger, we have to use a slightly different method. I will just duplicate it so you can see both of them. Maybe I'll do it like that. And as you can see, there can't be two methods of the same name, so we have to change it so that Unity understands it. And in order to use the trigger, we will use not on collision enter, but on trigger enter. So I just typed on trigger enter 2D, and here as an argument, we're not using collision 2D, but collider 2D, like so. And now this one is not going to work, but so I will comment it out so you can just have it for your reference whenever you need it. And let's go back to Unity and see if it will be working. I'll just press fire, and as you can see, the enemy was destroyed. So that might be a better solution if you need it. And in next episode, I will show you how to create some kind of aim so that can instantiate this bullet from outside the collider that is attached to our player.